Hi, I'm Eloise from the Gourmet Cupcake Company in Chelmsford in Essex. I'm going to show you some handy how-tos on icing and decorating cupcakes. So now I'm going to show you how to use fondant cutters. So you've got some fondant icing like this. If you wanted to use it white, then you just take a bit off, soften it up in your hands. I'm going to roll it out on this mat using, I've got a Sugarcraft rolling pin here, but you could use any rolling pin. I'm just going to sprinkle on some corn flour, or you could use icing sugar. That's just to help it not stick to the surface that we're rolling out on. So I'm going to roll this out to a particular thickness. Depending on what you're making, really, if you're making a very delicate flower, you may want to roll it a little bit thinner. So I'm going to cut out a butterfly. Now, this particular cutter has a pattern on the inside of it. So you could use that, or you could cut out a plain butterfly. So I'll do two so you can see what they both look like.
Can you just hold up that again for me so I can get a closer?
Do you want me to talk?
Okay.
So this particular cutter is a plunger cutter, and it's got a pattern on the inside which we can press down to make an imprint onto the icing shape. So I'll show you how to use how to make a plain butterfly and how to use this pattern on here. Okay. So when you've rolled out your fondant, just place the cutter on, making sure all the edges are on the surface of the icing. Press down, and you've really got to push really hard on the sides to make sure that it's cut all the way through. So when you lift it up, then on this one it's got a plunger, so I'll just use the plunger to pop it out. And there I've got a butterfly shape. So I'm going to dry this in here so that butterfly will keep that shape when it's dry. So now I'll show you using the pattern on the cutter that I showed you. So same as before, place the cutter on the icing, push down on all sides, but now we do the extra thing of just pushing that down on the top whilst it's still on the surface. So cut the edge, push that down, and then when you lift it up this time, you've actually pushed the imprint into the butterfly. So with fondant, you don't just have to use it white, you can colour it using paste colourings like these. They're very strong, much better than liquid colourings because you need less of them, so you don't make the fondant too soft with too much liquid. I've dyed some here already, so I've got a yellow and a purple and a blue. So same thing really, just rolling out. Now you've got two choices to roll out on. I'll roll out yellow on the corn flour that I dusted on earlier because the yellow's still a fairly light colour. Cut through again, pop it out, and then I've got a little yellow flower like that. Also dry that in there. However, if you are going to use a darker colour like this blue or this purple, we would actually not use corn flour to roll out on because you would see the dust on this. So instead of using that, I can use something called Petal Base, which is just like a vanilla vegetable fat that you can just put on the surface like that. If you haven't got this, you could use Crisco or Trex, which is also just vegetable fat. So then when you roll out on here, it doesn't have that dusty mark. And same thing again, I'm using a star cutter this time. It hasn't got a plunger. So when you're done, you've got a star like that. So that's how you use fondant cutters.